for you, or what shows itself? No answer needed. And when I ask questions, I offer you the same opportunity that I like to just hold the question. There's something energetic about holding a question in one's awareness that seems to expand the edges of what you might normally think of. So that's the point. And as I'm heading into this week and we're planning an egg hunt for my little toddler grandson, I've been thinking about eggs and rebirth, new life. Some people that celebrate Easter are on the journey, from Palm Sunday to Easter Sunday. And those of us not are certainly inclined to think about the revival of life and spring. And so I did a little Google search about an egg. And I thought, what's the spiritual metaphor, for an egg? And this is what I found. Contemplating the egg. The egg and all seeds contain all potential, full of promise and new life. So at the beginning of spring, what a fitting time to contemplate the symbolism of an egg. And maybe some of you, like me, will witness an egg hunt. But the egg symbolizes rebirth of nature, the fertility of the earth and all of creation. And in many traditions, the egg is a symbol for the whole universe. The cosmic egg contains a balance of male and female, light and dark, symbolized in the egg yolk and the egg white. So the egg yolk is that golden orb of the yolk is described as the sun god enfolded by the white goddess. So they're cooperatively coexisting, in perfect balance and harmony within their container. And so I'm just thinking, so may the sacred feminine and sacred masculine energies like on our planet come into greater balance. And even within ourselves, we've all got masculine and feminine energies that are always in some kind of a dance and relationship with each other. So I was just thinking about that beautiful way when something feels balanced, the harmonious experience of that. So that is just, one of my prayers for us this evening is that in the course of this practice, there'd be a balance between inhale and exhale, between, effort and the ease, those resting moments, that there'd be a balance between opening and closing. Some of our postures really open us up and some of us fold us inward, and stillness and movement, and then balance between curiosity and just peacefulness. So let's take left hand over the heart and give a bow. This is far more than just our evening of exercise. This is our spiritual practice that involves our whole being. Every cell of our body will be touched by what we do tonight. Our heart will be moved. Our mind will have opportunity to clear and maybe some pristine awareness to arise. And to connect with our higher power, whether we consider that to be something deep within or something outside of us, we'll have that opportunity. And so what do you need? What's your intention? Or what's your offering, your dedication? And let's add right hand on top of that. And we're practicing in virtual community, but because I know each one of you, I can imagine you being right here in the room with me. So this is a collective practice. Let's dedicate the good energy, the peace, the openness, the aliveness of this practice to flow outward in any way, shape, or form that is for the greater good. Just join me in that. May that be so. Next breath out, lift your palms off and turn them toward me if you would. And look around your screen, offer your classmates some kindness and compassion. Who knows what each of us has been through this day, what the challenges were physically and emotionally. So just send out that loving kindness, that metta blessing to one another. May you receive mine and I receive yours. Beautiful. So let's shift on to our mats, unless you are already there. I did mute everyone. You can change the point of view to speaker if that's helpful for you. And let's start in some kind of a seated position. And if you've been seated all this time that I was centering us, then just rearrange your feet differently. I'm going to be in cross-legged, and sitting on the blanket really is helpful. It gives the opportunity for your thigh bones to kind of hang freely from your seat down, so there can just be a natural gravity pull of the thigh bones. And then let's start to sync up breath and movement. So inhale, reach up. Bring your palms together. Exhale, just aware of midline, center line of the body that you are tracing with your thumbs. And let's start to flow. If you want to do as I'm going to do, start weaving a sound to your breath. That could be have a steadying quality to it. It also gives you something to keep track of, so that when you do get caught up in thought, which I'm sure will happen to each one of us, you'll notice that you're not hearing the breath anymore, and then you'll get a chance to come on back. And let the breath fill up just as deeply as it wants to. Let your exhale go. And then as we continue with this flow, you might want to kind of lean back or look up a little bit. So there's a little back bend there. And as your hands slide down, maybe you glance down and you have a rounded spine. And flow with me a few more times. Slow process of settling in. You might become ever more aware of your environment, what's around you. What do you see? What do you sense? What do you feel? Taste, touch. And again. And then let's slide the right hand down onto the mat. Keep the left arm up and over. And I'd like you to circle the left arm. So I had somebody request neck and shoulders. So I'm going to make sure we get into the neck and shoulders. And I definitely have plans to get deep into the hips also. Make sure that you slow this movement down enough that you're not on autopilot. Maybe you can spread the fingers. Even at this point, allow your toes to spread out a little bit, particularly if you were in shoes all day. Let's stay here for a few breaths. Sit deeply into your left hip. Reach out any way that you want through your left arm, and soften your right ear toward your right shoulder. Breathe a beautiful stretch into your left side body. Slowly bend your left elbow. Put your left palm on your skull. Pull your left elbow back. Turn your chest any amount upward. Top of the in breath right here. And then long exhale, dial down, diagonal over toward the right kneecap, bow your head in, and then let's flow together like that. Inhale, open it up, your chest widens. Exhale, take it down. Keep a wide position with your right hand down to the side. And then just find a nice flow like that. Keep on emptying out. It's like all the stale air, all the tension of the day can go. This is your reboot. Next time the left elbow lifts up, hand leaves the head, reach up toward the sky as much as you can. And then as if, a little angel or a fairy was grabbing your left fingertips, let them go all the way up as your right hand leaves the ground. Reach, reach, reach. And then drop your gaze softly to the left, plant your left palm, take your right arm up and over, sit deep in your right hip, and then circle your right arm around. And if it feels good, the head's turning, kind of following the pathway of the right hand. You're smoothing out, any jagged nerves by smoothing out the breath. You're starting to replenish your prana, your life force energy that you spent today. gets built up and stored through this deep breathing. And then one more nice swirl around. Next time the right fingertips come up, we're going to stay over to the side. You can bend that left elbow a little bit. Reach one moment further on the diagonal from your right sitting bone to your right hand. And then bend at the elbow, hand finds the skull. Pull your right elbow back, dial your chest up a bit. Big in-breath is here. And long out-breath diagonally down toward left knee. Let's flow just like that. Inhale, spread it open as wide as you can. Let there be a deep completion on the exhalation as your gaze drops toward your left hip. A few times like that, smoothly. And even if you had a day that was a lot of just darting here and there and nothing really all that smooth about the day, you can start to polish that up through smooth movement. Next time your right elbow opens up, stay here with me. Reach your right fingertips up. Remember, as though a little assisting being was helping lift up a little bit higher. Reach, reach, reach. And then push off your left hand. Bring your both palms all the way up overhead. Slide slowly, thumbs right down to the heart. And bow your head, pause. 5 breaths here. Just feel the simple after effects of those twists and side bends. Beautiful. Please join me in taking your hands back behind you. Lean onto your palms. Lift your legs up. Lift your toes off the ground. And we're going to come in and out of boat pose. And it could be a little movement or a bigger movement. You're going to slide your feet forward, lean back. You might look up and then sit yourself back up into the V. I think it's easier for you if I go sideways. And let's start to do that with any amount of effort that you would like. You can inhale when you open up, exhale when you sit back up. So you're strengthening through the low back. You're lifting up, through the space between your shoulder blades or the back of the heart. That's also lifting and leading the movement. Deep in the core. Good, one more. And then stay right here with your hands down or bring your hands behind your knees. Zip your spine up tall any way that you can. Peel your chest wider open. Slide your shoulders back down behind you. And a few of us might decide to lift hands, feet. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop your feet and cross your ankles the opposite way of how you were. Let's spend a few more moments seated. This time, let's put the hands on the knees, and maybe you just can wiggle your knees down toward the ground a little bit more. And by pressing the palms on the knees, then you can zip the spine up a little taller, and then let's circle. Lean to the right, forward, left, and around. I feel like the whole trunk of the body able to just kind of orbit around that steadiness of the hips. Or perhaps in your body, you start to rock from one sitting bone to the other, and you can just enjoy that. And as you circulate, relax your face. Put a little space between your teeth. Your lips can stay together. But you also just really want to have a nice circling action going from side to side. You want to feel that your head is really moving beautifully along with the rest of the body. And let's reverse the direction of the circles when you're ready. Keep inviting your thigh bones down toward the ground and any kind of lengthening of the sides of the waist, sides of the torso. Next time you are back forward, if it appeals to you, drop down onto your fingertips in front of you, or maybe down onto the palms. Your gaze drops down to the space between your hands. And take a few moments here, leaning forward, your navel moving towards your shins and your sitting bones moving back toward the space behind you. And if you're leaning forward enough, you might be able to have the experience of letting your head drop. And if that's the case, tilt your right ear towards your right shoulder. Feel the length on the left side of your neck. And then swivel the other way. Left ear toward left shoulder, more length on the right side of your neck. Wonderful. Back to center. Please walk your fingertips in, bring yourself all the way up. Good. And we're going to shift and set that blanket over to the side unless you're using it for your knees. And if you have a block handy, that can be up toward the front. And then let's shift. Let's come into downward facing dog together. Great pose to do a little check-in with, isn't it? So do what you like to do when you get here. Maybe you like to pedal out your heels. Maybe you like to kind of test out what's happening in your shoulders by bringing your shoulders a few inches forward and then sending your shoulders back kind of into the full downward facing dog. You also might want to give your head a little shake if you're carrying that neck tension that I think some of us are. Maybe a good time for a long, slow exhale, maybe with a sound. And let's come up and down on the toes together. So you can just kind of pulsing up on the toes. And then as your heels sink toward the ground, just feel that deeper stretch on the back of the legs, knowing that you can have a bend in the knees if that's what your body needs. We're going to travel forward into a high plank. Pause. And then drop your knees, uncurl your toes, look forward. Let's slowly melt down to the mat. And then we're going to slide the hands wide. We're going to come in and out of cobra a few times. You might also widen your feet and then press into your palms. Peel your chest up. And we'll be doing this several times, so you don't have to come to your highest setting first. So as you breathe out, drop back down, tap your forehead to the mat. And then just follow your own breathing pattern. Take the whole inhale to rise, whole exhale to lower down. And in doing so, stay anchored with your 10 toes connected to the mat, your thighs, your pelvis. Good. So kind of from the pelvis to the toes, we're grounded, and the rest, we're starting to lift. Bring your shoulders down away from your ears. Good. And then if you want to stay up and hold with me a few moments here, we'll do that. You don't have to be up as high as I am. You could be down lower. And then let's shift. We'll just look to the left, look to the right, back and forth. Swivel through the shoulders as you do so. Kind of peeking over one shoulder and then over the other. As we find our way back down, let's lower down almost with the chin to the ground, not quite, and then slide the palms for locust pose. The arms will come straight down by your side. Your palms are down. And then lift the legs up even just a tiny bit, and very energetic in the legs. Lift the chest just a tad more if you'd like. Chest rolls open, the shoulder blades move toward each other. You can stay here. You can lift your hands up and make it a little more vigorous, stretching your fingertips towards your toes if you'd like. Breathing, holding. So even though there's a lot of effort in this pose, you can still have an easy mindset. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feet down, bring your hands around, stack them, put your right cheek down, bend your knees, and windshield wiper your feet softly from side to side. Attend to the sensations in your low back. Also, take advantage of the chance to really rest. Let the full weight of your head drop down onto your hands. And just feel that simple, easy pleasure of your feet moving through the air. And then hold your feet still. Lift your head up, turn the other way, put your left cheek down. Meditatively, mindfully lower your left foot all the way down until it touches the earth. Same thing with your right foot. 5-breath pause here. Let your body integrate. Let your heart integrate, your mind integrate. Beautiful. Please join me lifting your head up. Take your hands to frame your chest. We'll come all the way up and back. We're going to flow a few times between a kneeling plank and child's pose. So I'm pressing the hips back toward the heels. I'm keeping my thigh bones parallel. So the knees are not wide at this time. Forehead moves toward the ground. Maybe it doesn't touch, but maybe it does. And then we'll start to flow. You're going to move forward. In breath takes us all the way forward. Look forward. Lift your chest. Let your hips drop. Exhale. Pull your hips towards your heels. And pause. That's the flow. Inhale as you ride that wave of the breath forward. Exhale. Ride the wave of movement back. Let's do a few times, just straight down center of the mat, forward and back. Feeling some strengthening happening through your arms. A chance to get a little awareness in the core as your navel draws in toward your spine when you bring the hips back. And then once you've kind of got that pattern going, you can incorporate circling also by pushing your hips to one side, forward, other side, and back toward the heels. So if you're taking that option of moving the hips in a circular fashion, you might really want to lean them out to the side. You can get a great stretch for your IT band, for the outer portion of your hips that goes down the outer thigh. And then the opportunity to just change directions when you're ready. Keep connected to your inhale and exhale, maybe through a little sound, or at least through paying attention to that experience of breathing, how it feels when it enters the body and leaves the body. Nice. And then let's meet together in tabletop. So hands and knees. Take a peek. Let your head kind of just drop at this time. Spread your hands wide, energize your arms, but still let your chin kind of fold in towards your neck. Give your head a little shake. Let's flow through cat and cow a few times. Curl those toes under, lift your sitting bones, lift your chest, pull your hands towards your knees in order to stretch your front body longer. And then the opposite, round and tuck. And enjoy the simplicity of this movement. Simply opening the front of the torso when you're all lifted, and then opening the back of the torso when you are rounded. Breath as food. Just like the body craves water, it also craves oxygen and prana. Join me back in a flat back and then lean into your left palm. Take your right hand to the right. So we're going to do a little for the shoulders. You're going to keep on lifting your right hand as high as you can. Your gaze could be to the right. We're going to thread through a few times before we hold. You're going to thread your right hand behind your left wrist, reach it across, dip down, maybe a touch the right side of the head to the ground, and then come back out. Use your core to help you lift and rotate open. Breathe out, threading through, dipping down. One more. Open it up. Exhale, thread it through. We're going to stay. Hips are stacked over the knees. Right shoulder's down. Right side of the head is either to the mat or maybe on your block, a blanket, or your hand. Let's stay here for a few moments. If you have your left hand on the mat in front of your face, you can push into your left hand and just make that twist a little deeper, kind of turning your chest and your face slightly up to the left. Breathe. A few of you who want to challenge yourselves tonight can balance on your right knee. Take your left leg back behind you. You could keep the left toes down. That's kind of stage one. Or you can take your left leg up. Breathe. Try not to clench your teeth or really get, too tight through the right side of your neck or shoulder. Breathe. And the left knee comes back down. Push into your left hand. Unwind, unthread, look right. Lift all the way up. Stay right here. And then shift the right fingertips forward in front of you. Left foot behind you. And here we are in a spinal balance. The gaze drops. The low belly tucks in. Reach, reach, reach. And then crunch with me. Right elbow kisses the left knee. And then open it back up. Good. Exhale with that strong crunching in. Inhale when you open the body long. Good. 2 more. And then stay here, pause with me for just a few moments extended. Then you have the option to go either into child's pose or take the half bind. Bend your left leg, reach back with your right hand, grab the left foot, and then lift your whole body away from the ground. Let your right shoulder roll open. Push your left foot into your right hand, maybe even a little more. Breathing in, breathing out. Beautiful. When you're ready, release. We're all going to join up in wide-kneed child's pose. Take those knees as wide as you can. Big toes point in. Shift your hips towards your heels. And if you're tight, drop down just to your elbows. Make a pillow for your forehead. Or if your shoulders are more open, stretch your arms out. Bring your forehead to the mat. 5 breath pause here. Drop in. Really pay attention to the sensation of the stretch. And the smooth and deep flow of your breathing. We're going to come back into a little squat before we do that sequence on the other side. So come on up onto your palms, curl your toes under, and then rock yourself back onto your toes. So in this form of a squat, which is garland, I've got my heels only about 1 inch or 2 apart, toes are out, knees are out. And then as I sit the hips behind, you can bow down toward the ground and a feather touch of the fingers on the ground. Goal being to widen deeply through the low back and the whole back side of the body. Nice little chance to dangle the head. Good. Breathe in, breathe out. Good. And stay for several more breaths there. Let's see if I can improve the lighting in this room. I don't know if I can. I feel like it's looking pretty dark. Oh, I think that just got better. All right, let's go from where we are in this squat back to table. All right, other side. Right hand comes down, left hand lifts. You're gonna look left and lift the left hand up as high as you can. We're gonna thread a few times before we hold. thread behind the right wrist, reach it across, tuck and drop for just a moment, and then come back out. Strong right arm, lift your left fingertips, look left, and thread it on through. Follow your breathing pattern. One more, and then we'll be holding it. Reach across, drop that left shoulder, left side of the head. Maybe you need the right hand as a little pillow, or maybe not. Notice that your hips are stacked over your knees. And if you want to deepen the rotation of the spine, push into your right hand. And feel how you're able to twist a little more deeply, perhaps with your chest turning even just a notch further to the right. Same thing with your face. Some of us will stay. It's really very rich right there. Or shift your weight to your left knee, straighten your right leg. Perhaps the toes stay down, or perhaps the right leg comes up. Good. Hug into your core in order to create the stability. Make good use of that right hand and the back of the left arm if you're balancing with me. Breathe. And then when you're ready, the right knee can come down. Push into your right hand. Unthread. Lift your left hand up, looking left. Good. Big, strong reach right there. And then into a spinal balance. So send those left fingertips forward and send your right foot back. Drop the gaze down towards your right thumb. Hug your low belly in. Reach, reach, reach. Crunches, right elbow and left knee meet under the body. Inhale, lengthen back out. Powerful exhale. Full inhale. Two more. We'll stay in hold together. You can stay here, you can take a break, or you can come into half bind with me, bend your right leg, reach your left hand back for the right foot, and then you can gaze slightly forward, push into your right hand, and think about the whole body lifting away from the ground. And let your left shoulder roll open, push your right foot strongly into your left hand. Deep breath. Beautiful. And release. And we'll all meet up once more in a wide knee child's pose. 5 breath pause. Drop it down. Let the inner groin stretch. Maybe those knees go a little wider this time than last time. Maybe the chest comes even a tad closer to the ground. Feel that soft Buddha belly on your inhalation and that firmer, stronger belly on your exhalation. And we're going to come out and find our way back onto our feet as we did before, curling the toes under. But this time, let's keep the thighs parallel so we don't have the knees and the toes turned out necessarily. And we're going to drop the feet to the ground. The hips will rise, but the torso stays down. Here we are, wide, fairly wide-footed, forward fold. Let's shake out the wrists. Spend a bit of time with a lot of weight in the wrists, so shake those on out. And then either you can take ragdoll or you can take a bind. Palm to palm, interlace your fingers. Whichever arm position you choose, and then once that's secure, maybe you'd like to move around through your feet a little bit and have that curious mindset of, what does it feel like if you Lift the toes up, spread them, and put them back down. What does it feel like if you really sway your torso to the right and to the left? Let your head be relaxed. And then unbind your hands. Let your fingertips find their way toward the ground. We'll start to roll our way up. We're stacking up one vertebrae on top of the other. Maybe taking the hands all the way up overhead. And then bring your palms together. Let's walk toward the top of the mat. I'm going to shift my camera up a little bit, so I think that you'll be able to see me better. Okay. I'm going to do a few standing poses together. Let's do a few half salutations, just because it's nice to feel that fluid nature of the body. So take a fresh step on each foot. Take your arms out and up. Inhale, reach. Nice, you're anchored to earth through your hands. Reach to the heavens. Feet are on the earth. Hands reach to the heavens. And then fold on down. Inhale, strong spine. Bring your heart forward. Breathe out, fold back down. Breathe in, roll up. Nice. Let's do that one more time. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise. And this time, let's bring the hands into a Vajra mudra or a temple mudra. Bring your hips back behind your heels. So you're in chair pose. And let's bounce a little bit. I want you to feel the strength that you have in your legs. And you've got that laser pointer with the fingers. So we're going to take that 4-part flow that we've done together before. So you're going to point down toward the earth. And as you stand, this is symbolic of raising the banner of your intentions. Are you clear about what you want? And then exhale as you come down, pressing out every obstacle, everything that stands between you and what calls to you. And then inhale with your palms facing forward, just willing to open yourself up. And then circle your hands back behind your head, blessing yourself on every level so that you might be a blessing. I'm going to do that again together. Drop to chair. Inhale, raise the banner of your intentions. Exhale, press out powerfully all that limits you. Inhale, open up. And exhale, bless yourself. Just radiant blessings. May they ripple out from each one of us and come all the way down. Stay with me in a forward fold. Let's step back, please, with your left foot and drop your left knee. Uncurl the toes, rise to a kneeling lunge. I'm just going to pulse here. Take any position with your arms that you want. They could be kind of straight out in a V shape. They could be more like goddess arms, or you could take that bind behind your back. Just sensitize to what your body instinctively tells you and follow that. And feeling the pulsing, this way that you can hug muscle to bone. And then next time your hips pulse forward, drop your left hand down, either right onto the mat, or if you have a block close by, do so. Right hand to right thigh and rotate to the right. 5 breaths to bring this twist into fullness. And you can stay on the knee. You can curl the toes under. So I want to lift the right hand up. But remember, it's really so much about the revolution, the revolving and twisting of the spine and the detoxification of the organs in your core. Breathe. Last exhale. The right hand comes down. Block can go to the side for now. Bring your fingertips inside your right foot. Lift your hips up and walk your fingertips down the left edge of your mat. Find yourself in a wide-footed forward fold. Stay here. Bring the top of your head to the ground, toward the ground. And breathe. Anchor through the feet, long through the legs, high with the hips, and really down low with the head. Bring your heels in toward each other. Rise with me toward goddess. So you're going to bring the torso up. And for now, the hands will rest on the thighs. So let's just get our feet and legs situated. Flat feet. Kind of the arches of the feet tend to lift a little bit here. Sit deep down with your sitting bones, your tailbone. Good. And then the arms come out into a wide T. Bend at the elbows, spread through the fingers. Good. Hug your low belly in a little bit to help that tailbone drop further. And then we're going to flow between 5-pointed star and goddess. Straighten out arms and legs. We'll call this in-breath. Exhale, come back down into goddess. Good. I thought that analogy of the egg was really great, with the golden orb being the sun god and then the white being the white goddess wrapped around it. That's pretty cool. So inhale all the way back up. Exhale here. One more time. Strong, powerful, intentional. Pause. Good. Straighten your arms out. Straighten your legs. Parallel your feet so your toes turn to face that long edge of your mat once again. Take the bind behind your back. Interlace. Lengthen your knuckles down south of the tailbone at all possible. Open the chest. Maybe lift the gaze slowly up. Open your throat. And then join me in a slow forward fold with a flat back, perhaps, if your body allows for that. Your knuckles lifting up. Your gaze drops down. Let your head be really heavy. Let it just dangle right there. Beautiful. Unbind the hands. Turn to face the top of your mat. Find a way to get to child's pose or downward facing dog. So yogi's choice for 10 breaths. You can stay still and just refine your down dog or your child's pose. You also could take a flow with me if you want to. Forward into a high plank, finding the strength and stability there. And then dropping the knees. Uncurl the toes. The gaze comes forward. And it's a slow, sweet melt to the ground. And then tapping the forehead down. Inhale. Rise. The heart opens through cobra. And we breathe out. We come back either to child's pose or to a downward facing dog. And let's walk our feet up to meet the hands. And we get to have that nice little sequence on the other side. Let's roll up to standing. Bring your hands up by the sides, all the way up. Palms together. Slide hands right down to the heart. 5 breath pause here. What do you notice? What do you feel? What's bubbling up for you? Let's flow on the other side. Take your arms out and up with me. Exhale, fold it down. Hug, lift halfway. And breathe out, fold, touch down with the fingers. Good. Step way back with your right and drop your right knee. Let's rise when you're ready. Come on up. Kneeling lunge or Anjali Asana. Pulsing your pelvis down towards your left heel bit by bit and just kind of managing that movement with the strength of your thighs. Feeling the sole of the left foot very grounded and top of the right foot also. And then settling to stay. Arm formation, your choice. I think I'm going to go for the bind. Open it up. Steady breath. Beautiful. And let's release the hands down, right palm to the mat or onto a block, left hand to the left thigh. Let's twist very generously for 5 breaths, twisting left. I trust you're making modifications according to the needs of your body. And staying here, continuing to twist, or maybe curling the right toes under, straightening the right leg. Maybe still rotating around, breathing in and out. Some of us will raise the left hand. Keep the chest open, scissoring your inner thighs toward one another. Beautiful. The hands are going to come down inside the left foot. Block goes away. And then we'll lift the hips up. So it requires straightening the right leg. And then walk your fingertips down the right edge of your mat and fold. I think I'm going to turn around because I don't want to give you a view of my backside like that. Yes, so there you are, wide-footed forward fold. See what feels good here. Do you want to shake out your wrists? You want to shake out your head? I'm going to shift your hips a little bit, side to side. Nice, and then tuck your heels in. Let's rise up, come back into goddess just for a moment. Good, so you're facing the other side of your mat. And then from here, let's take the arms straight out. We're going to do a warrior 2 on each side. Let's start by pivoting on the left heel and then pivot on your right heel. Turn your right toes to face the short edge of your mat. Bend your right knee. Guide your gaze beyond your right fingertips and just stay right here. Anchor into the feet. Feel the strength of your legs. Really wide stretch across the chest, right out through your arms. 5 steady breaths here. You feel your right outer hip kind of wrapping, hugging in. Relax your shoulders just a little bit. Float your hands down to your waist, your sides of your waist. Straighten your leg and then pivot your pose just the other way. Pivot all the way around to face your warrior 2 in the opposite direction. So left toes are facing short edge of the mat. Bend your left knee and then open your chest up so you're facing the long side of the mat with your chest, and then the gaze right beyond those left fingertips. Reach from the heart to the fingertips and then soften all the effort just by a little bit. Invoke steady and focused warrior. Beautiful. Float your hands right down to your hips. Come back to center. Face the long side of your mat. Heel toe your feet in just a little bit, and we're going to drop to a full squat. The toes stay turned out. Bend at the knees. I know some people with cranky knees might stop right here. Others of us might come further down. Arrange your feet any way that you can. And you can let the hips drop. Your gaze can be down. The whole pose could be completely descending. Or you could include some lifting aspect to it by putting your elbows between your knees, your hands to your heart. You've got descending of the hips and opposite energies just working together to create something really effective. Like I said before, the sacred masculine, sacred feminine working in cooperation with each other, even within a pose like this. Good. 5 and 4, 3, 2, 1. Please have a seat. Wow. All right, let's bring the legs out in front of us. And you can just bounce your legs around a little bit. That was some great work for those standing poses. We'll do a little seated twist before we come down onto our backs. So if you want to do what I'm doing, brought my folded blanket around and having a seat on it. Lengthening out with the right leg and bending the left leg. Left foot is flat. Interlace your fingers, front side of the left shin, and then zip your spine up tall. Press down to the earth through the backside of your right leg, through both of your sitting bones, and let this activate your core. Make sure you stay relaxed through your face. Don't clench your jaw. And we'll stay here with the opportunity to cross left ankle over right if you want before we make it into a twist. So this just adds a little interesting stretch to the outer portion of the left hip. Then we'll be taking the right elbow or forearm, hooking left knee, and take your left fingertips on the floor behind you, pressing into the tented left hand, and then straighten that left arm so it acts as a second spine, and rotate as deeply as you can to the left. And you might want to experiment with how to place your head. You know, if your neck still just feels like it needs some stretching on one side or the other, this would be a time to tilt your head one way or the other without collapsing the twist. Really cleansing breaths here. We've been through a long, hard winter. I think it's going to take a little while for us to release what we've been holding in terms of, worry, concern, or just feeling stuck and stagnant. But we're on our way. Beautiful. And as we turn back toward face the front, I'm going to give you an option to lean onto your right hip, bend your right leg, tuck your right heel in, and then sit back up. So you've got like a double pigeon, got the left knee stacked on top of the right knee. If you start into that and it's just definitely not going to work, because we are going to fold forward a bit with it, if that doesn't work, just take your left shin, cross in front of your right, and come back to that simple cross-legged, like Indian style seat. So those are your two options: right heel tucked in, left leg crossed over, or simple Indian style Sukhasana seat. Let's make connection, the hands right down to the ankles, shins, feet, wherever you can. And wiggle your hips right on down toward the ground. Soften your face, jaw, shoulders. Let your left hip drop down even more. And then very slowly, with just relaxed curiosity, start to lean your torso forward while keeping grounded through the hips. Perhaps you can have the sense like your navel and low ribs are moving forward, so it's not just a leaning forward with the head, but the whole torso comes forward. And then for some of us, the stretch keeps going. For some of us, it stops. If it continues and you can and want to, put your hands down, do that. But we'll all bring softness into the face, relax through the jaw. Let your hips stretch. Deep meditative breathing. Allow your mind to clear. Let's gently roll ourselves back up and noticing how the spine restacks itself until you're seated back up. And then let's unwind the legs and take them into a straddle before we do the other side. A good time to take the padding of the buttocks back a little bit so you feel like you're sitting more squarely on your blanket, with the opportunity for the pelvis to tilt maybe forward a little bit instead of back. Try for that. And let's just take a little bit of a kind of a swirly from one side to the other. Kind of let your hands just flow through the air. Just fluid. Even up overhead from one side to the other. And then eventually bring your hands right down in front of you. And we'll take about 5 breaths here, folding forward in this wide straddle. Where can you release? Are there any parts of the body being very clearly touched through this pose that you want to pay attention to? Feeling the sweetness that comes when we slow down. Let's walk the hands right back in until we come back up to vertical. Left leg now straight in front of us. Bend your right leg. Put your right foot flat. Interlace your fingers, front of the right shin. Zip yourself up tall. Activating not only just the low belly, but also the low back. They just really weave together nicely. And then option, if you care to cross your right foot over your left leg, you can do that. And maintain that nice tall stature right there. And take a wrap with your left forearm or your left elbow, hooking right knee. And take those right fingertips behind you. They're tented. And as you press into those right fingertips, that right arm gets straight and strong and helps you sit up tall as you rotate. 5 detoxifying breaths to the right. Lovely. Turn back toward the front. So we're going to take that double pigeon or that double crisscross with the legs. You're going to try that on this side. Lean onto your left hip, put your left hand down and bend your left leg and then sit back up again. And if for whatever reason that's not going to work, just remember, you can have your right shin crossed in front of your left and you'll still get a good stretch for your hips. Wiggle down. Sit as deep and heavy into both hips as you can. Maybe your hands are connecting with your ankles and helping manage placement of your feet to be just where you want them. Relax. Feel the long, tall spine. And start to lean forward. Just maintaining that grounded and connected sense through your hips. Let your gaze drop. You feel yourself moving, just kind of like through molasses. Slow. You're finding sensation with each fraction of an inch that you come forward with the torso. Some of you might be bringing hands down to the mat in front of you, maybe not. We're targeting deep into the hips. Maybe allow yourself a gentle smile of gratitude. Just thankful that you have taken time for yourself. And you're not the only one that benefits when you take time to do something like this. It really polishes the gem of the true self, that radiant jewel in the lotus of the heart. Just nurturing and developing that. A few more slow, deep breaths here. Long, slow exhale. And walking yourself all the way back up. Wonderful. Let's uncross the legs and just take a few final breaths in that straddle before we're ready to come down onto our backs and make that descent. So you can just kind of be here. You can pat your legs or just jiggle them around, or maybe you just really do want to fold back forward one more time. So if you have socks or a sweatshirt within reach that you want to put on, this would be a great time to do that. Before we start down on our back, I just want to give you the idea that you can either do one or the other. You could put a block down underneath your hips, so you can be draping your body over that. You could do the block between the shoulder blades instead, or I'm going to try to do both. So I'm going to take my blanket, I'm going to roll it up, and I think that's going to go underneath my shoulder blades. And then I'm going to take the block and put it under my hips. So we're just looking for a nice front body opener. So let's see how this goes. Yeah, that feels pretty good. And you don't need to do either of those either. You can just lay on your back, and we did a lot of moving. Maybe you're just ready for Shavasana. If so, I wouldn't blame you. You can go right into that. Otherwise, if you're going to follow me just a little bit longer, let's take the arms out wide and let your chest open. If your hips are on a block, really nice time to just feel a beautiful length, from the shoulders that flows right down to your feet, opening through the front of the hips, those hip creases, getting a chance to open up after a day of sitting and all kinds of activity. You can keep your legs long like this. Maybe a few of you want to take the soles of your feet together and let your knees drop out. That's got its own sensation to it. And you can slide your eyes closed if that's helpful, and if it brings you into deeper presence. Take 5 smooth, deep breaths here. Keep letting your chest open up. If your knees went apart, you can bring them back together. I'm going to take that block out from underneath. And I'm going to take that blanket out also. I plan to do bridge and a little twist. So if you've got other ideas, please do whatever it is that you'd like. Otherwise, if you're coming with me, let's ground down into the feet, lift your hips up. Your arms are down by your sides. And sometimes people like to grab the edges of their yoga mat in bridge here and just kind of keep that as a hand connection and use that as a little bit of leverage. You can also ground into your feet a little more, squeeze your inner thighs just a notch toward each other. And if your shoulders felt like they opened enough, you can take your bind here. Palm to palm, interlace the fingers, bear down through the back of your head, back of your shoulders, back of your arms, your pinky fingers, and your feet. And take a deep breath, fill up, let that inhale feel like it's touching every part of the front of your body. All the muscles on the back of your body engaged to help support this lift. Your lungs able to fully expand. And we'll stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Unbind. Slowly roll down. Just let your upper back widen. Feel each vertebrae as it meets the ground. And then hug your knees in. Oh, that feels good. Maybe wrap your arms around your knees, or some folks might be limited to just holding the knees with the hands. Either way, it's fine. And rock side to side. Rock slowly, just like a boat at anchor on a gentle day. Just sweet, easy rocking. Feel that sensation across your low back, your shoulder blades, through your skull as your head turns from left to right in this rocking. And stay with that if that's meeting you, or you can reach down and grab your feet. So you can keep your feet together kind of for a reclining child's pose, or elevate your heels and come into happy baby. A little more of that same rocking if you'd like. It really tends to get a little bit different part of the back, maybe a little further up toward the kidneys. That can feel like beneficial press. And maybe a few of us want to grab a yogi toe hold on the big toes and then take the heels out wide. If you're moving, it's very mindful, slow movement. And you're very attuned. You are now able to notice nuance that perhaps often escapes you in the busyness of life. Bend the knees, fold them in toward each other. We're going to drop the legs to the left. I'm using a block. That's something that I like to do. So as we come into a reclining twist, drop the legs left. I'm stacking my shins my left. Take your sweetly slide it down until your left hand just kind of hooks right there on the top of your right knee. And then peel open, send your right arm way out to the side. Your gaze might turn right as well. Soften the palm of your right hand. Soften your gaze and soften your feet. Let your back relax into this twist. Soften your tongue into your lower jaw. Feel your left hip melt right down into your mat. Simple, simple rise and fall of the belly. Welcoming the twist, not forcing it or requiring it to be a certain way. Head our way to the other side. You can lead with the right knee, the left knee follows. If you're using a block like I am tonight, take it over, drop it down to the right on the floor, and then folded legs drop to the right, stacking, shins on the block. Right hand comes to the top of the left hip, slide it down till it finds the left knee, relax. You can turn toward the left and bring your left arm out to the side. The more you're relaxed, the more your muscles soften, and the deeper the twist might feel like it unfolds for you. When that runs to completion, you can bring yourself out of that. Take any final movements that you need and then find your way into Shavasana. Beautiful reward for really showing up and moving your body like you did. And there's no fast track to Shavasana. It's the pathway through all those postures, all that movement that brings you to the radiant experience that you're heading into at this time. I love knowing that you are each in your cozy space, enjoying the beauty of your own company. I invite you to get very, very comfortable, whether you're on the floor or you've decided to be on the couch, wherever you are. And you can start to let go of focusing on your breathing. Gentle practice of body awareness, natural mind, natural body, natural breath. So let what is beneath you hold you. So often there's more support for us than we realize, and we think we need to hold ourselves all together at all times. And this is the practice of letting go. Shavasana means corpse pose. It's a practice. It's a death practice. It's a really ultimate letting go practice. So I'm going to let go to effort to manage anything. I'm going to let go of the weight of your head so that you can receive that full support of what is beneath you. Let go of your shoulders. Let go of the length of your arms and feel the way that your hands are resting. And then let your whole torso soften. Let it drop down. You want to have your hips feel heavy, earthy. Feel the length of both of your legs softening and descending. And your feet relaxed. Back body close to the earth. Front body open. Just weaving together. Yoga means union or yoke. So you are reunited with parts of yourself. Feel the soft, natural flow of your breath. Notice that your spiritual ears might be open. If any whisper of truth comes, take pause, just notice it. You'll remember it later. And you get to taste the sweetness of life. I'm going to read to you. It's a poem by Naomi Shibanai called So Much Happiness. It is difficult to know what to do with so much happiness in a moment like this. With sadness, there is something to rub against, a wound to tend with lotion and cloth. Or when the world falls in around you, you have pieces to pick up, something to hold in your hands, like a ticket stub or change. But happiness or bliss floats. It doesn't need you to hold it down. It doesn't need anything. Happiness lands on the roof of the next house, singing, and you are happy either way. Even the fact that you once lived in a peaceful treehouse and now live over a quarry of noise and dust cannot make you unhappy. Everything has a life of its own. It too could wake up filled with possibilities of coffee cake and ripe peaches, and love even the floor when it needs to be swept. Since there is no place large enough to contain so much happiness, you shrug, you raise your hands, and it flows out of you into everything you touch. You're not responsible. You take no credit. as the night sky takes no credit for the moon, but continues to hold it and share it, and in that way be known. So the fullness of happiness. We're not far off from our last full moon. There's a fullness to this experience you're having right now. So embrace it. Don't question it. Let it refresh you and heal you, renew you, and you'll leave your mat changed. So I send you all wishes for peace and health and happiness now and always. Namaste. And I send you just wishes for a peaceful evening also. Please stay a little longer in rest and enjoy the fruits of your labor. And I will see you in class soon. Take good care.